All right, what's happening? It is John Tilley from Zonguru. I'm really excited about today. This is a culmination of a lot of hard work from our team, and we have a launch party today. So it is the COSMO Transformation Launch Party. We're going to be showing you and walking through a new technology and service that we have to ultimately give you the best visibility and conversion on Amazon and beyond, which I'm going to talk about as well. But we're going to walk that through today. If you are just joining, I know that there's been a lot of people who are excited about it. Please let me know in the chat where you're from, yeah, just let me know where you're from and you know what's on your mind today. I'd love to hear. This is going to be a good conversation, and I want it to be a conversation. So whoever is joining, you know, I really want to hear from you, get some questions from you, and we'll go from there. So. Let me know in the chat who is. I see Cedar from London, and I think they're going to start rolling in a second. I see someone, Joshua from Lunch Marketing. Cool, good to see you on here from Washington. Crane, what's happening? You haven't heard your name in a couple of months at least. Good to see you there. Elizabeth Rivas, very cool. Good to see you, Elizabeth, for sure. Sarah, Austin, Trisha. Elena, all the way to Frankfurt. Okay, cool. So, you know, many here that's UK, London, Santa Barbara. We've got a bunch of people coming in. So, exciting group here, and you're here for obviously a very specific reason to hear more about this. But your thoughts are probably happening like, how do I optimize for the new AI era on Amazon? You know, what else is happening in the space? And this is a time for us to really talk about that. And I'm going to share things with you, but also give you a chance to ask questions, and we go from there. So how are we going to roll today? You've got me for the next probably about the next hour. I'm going to spend 30 minutes talking through the service, the ideas behind it, exactly walking through the COSMO transformation service. What does the final deliverable look like? You know, what should you be looking for in that? How do you optimize for Amazon's algorithm? You know, various questions around that. We're going to be talking about that for the next 30 minutes, and then we will have Q&A towards the end. And also in between. So as you have questions, put them in there. I'll check them on here and I'll be able to answer them as we go. Again, to keep this conversation going and making it as valuable as it can be for you, whoever's jumping on here. So please feel free to ask questions as we go. Yes, there's going to be a recording. Yes, there's going to be a recording. Anybody who's registered here, I don't even know, Evo, maybe let me know how many we have registered on here, but I think we have like, you know, it's close on 500 people that have jumped in to really learn more about this. So, we have Evo, who's you know, part of our team, and he's helping me today. So you know, if you have questions, put them in there. We're going to answer them, and we go from there. So yeah, let's get rolling. So again, we're going to talk today about the COSMO Transformation Launch Party, and how to really enhance and map your Amazon listings for the new AI era. And we're going to give you the opportunity for early access to this tool. We have been testing this in beta. With some of our customers. We've got some amazing feedback. People are blown away by the results. I'm going to show you some of the feedback we're getting. I just grabbed one from this morning, so I'll show you that in a bit. We're going to show you actually the deliverables. But today is really where we're announcing this to, you know, our audience that we have here, and it's only to our audience. There's people who are on this webinar today. You get early access, and then going into next week, we'll be announcing that publicly and taking it publicly. So this is the time to sign up and get ahead in the queue and get your results before we open it up to the general public. So that's what's exciting about today. Okay, so hey, what's up, Gary? All the way from Canada, Washington D.C., Arizona, New York City. Cool. We got a bunch in here. So all right, let me keep this going. So if you don't know Zonguru, you know, we are really, you know, timing is everything. We're engineered to meet Amazon's AI moments and beyond. We have many different tools that you can use if you sign up for our technology. But one of our biggest strengths is around the algorithm on Amazon. We've been around since 2017, understanding that black box of what Amazon's algorithm is and how to better rank, get more visibility, conversions, and get aligned with the Amazon you know, flywheel per se is our specialty. We've had a lot of firsts in the space, all the way through to, you know, listings using OpenAI. We're the first to integrate with ChatGPT, you know, in the space, and that's been a big focus of ours. You know, AI, keyword intelligence, and on, right? So that's who Zonguru is. This level of COSMO optimization that we're going to talk about is a new level on top of everything that we've been doing, which culminates with meeting this AI moment that's really happening in our e-commerce space. All right, so questions are coming in. Cool, Kevin, thank you for that. I'm going to talk a lot about that in a second. So good question there. I'm going to come back to you in a minute. So yeah, keep the questions rolling. That's a really good question, Kevin. You're setting a good bar right from the beginning. All right, so timing is everything, right? I'm sure a lot of you in the e-commerce space saw this announcement 2 days ago. Amazon basically has said, hey, you can now, in the results, in the native form of having conversations with ChatGPT, you can buy products. They've integrated, partnered with Stripe. They're calling it Agentic Commerce Protocol. Basically, any platform, whether you're a Shopify, whether you're Etsy at the moment, you can integrate, and you can, what the end result is customers will be talking with ChatGPT, get some recommendations. There'll be a link in there where you can actually click and you can check out straight away, right? Within the platform, and then get delivered. So it's happening. This is what we've been expecting to come for a while, but it is now happening where you're starting to engage with ChatGPT, this intelligent format. You're getting these recommendations, but now you can buy. Not only is it surfacing products, right, and you can get recommendations, but now you can buy in the platform. And it's shaking up. It's going to shake up right now, but it's going to shake up in the future. What e-commerce looks like, and it's leaning again into this experience of, hey, I've got an answer engine. I can ask questions. I can get answers. I can engage. I can get recommendations. I can get things thought about that I haven't really thought about yet, and I can boil that down to recommendation, and then I can go ahead and buy that, right? Right there on the platform, which is amazing. And there's certain tensions. I'm sure there's a lot of backdoor conversations happening right now between Amazon, these platforms, between Google, etc. But this is happening right now, and it's pretty exciting. And what does that mean for you as a commerce brand? Well, one thing is important is like, how do we surface, not only on Amazon, right, but how do we surface on these platforms? How do we get visibility? What are they looking for as an AI intelligent being algorithm? What is it looking for so it can recommend my products on these platforms and beyond, right? Right now, people are searching, they're finding it, they get recommendations, they're jumping onto Amazon and they're buying it there. But that experience of this answer engine is really culminating, and that's the new way of we have to meet that experience as a platform, right? Amazon has to meet that, which we know they're trying to do, right? And they're playing catch up in that area. So here's the unpopular opinion. The Amazon homepage doesn't matter anymore. AI front page, right? So yeah, that's happening, right? So people are searching on these other platforms, and that is the way that they're going to find your product, right? And clearly that's also happening on Amazon with Rufus. So ChatGPT, Perplexity, Rufus, these are the new home pages, right? Rufus isn't quite there yet, but Amazon has to play catch up. They have to meet that experience where there's this AI intelligent being that you can engage with, get those recommendations, and then click on that and then go ahead and purchase, right? So Rufus is going to become more and more critical as these platforms like ChatGPT, Perplexity, Gemini are getting more and more sophisticated. The experience is changing, and you can start to check out on those, right? So, Amazon has to play in that game. So Rufus is going to become increasingly important. We said that from the beginning. Rufus is there. Oh, people are like, oh, well, it's not that engaging right now. It's not a great experience, but it's going to have to be, because they have to keep up with everything else in the space. Hey, Larry, good to see you too, man. Looking forward to comments. Yeah, so keep the questions coming. Yeah, just having a look at that real quick. Okay, so going back to this, is your listing optimized? If your listing isn't optimized in the new AEI generative engine optimization, which is, some people call it AIO, which is, artificial intelligence optimization, generative engine optimization. It's the new SEO, right? How do we understand these beings, these AI platforms, and how do we make sure that we are matching what they're looking for, right? So if you're not doing it in that way, you're not just losing visibility on Amazon, but you're actually being excluded from the next era of product discovery, right? So there's a big overlap between how you should optimize on Amazon and how these new AI platforms are looking for, and how you should structure your schema to make sure that you're visible for those. And that's the good thing, right? Because if you're doing it well on your Amazon listings, you're going to appear better in search for these, these AI platforms as well. So you used to optimize for the SERP. Now you need to optimize for the answer, right? It is happening. You need to do this. And that's what we've been pouring our intelligence and focus into, and figuring that out on Amazon. And we're going to talk more about that right now. Okay, so maybe some of you are sitting here and just going, what is John talking about? I'm not really following. The best way to explain it is like, you can go right now onto Amazon, or onto Google or ChatGPT, and you can say, hey, I've had a knee surgery, I'm looking for a knee brace. Hey, can you recommend a knee brace, right? And it's going to come back with an AI overview saying, hey, if you're looking for this, this is what happened. These are some things to think about. These are some recommendations that we're seeing in the space. These are some benefits, attributes. What else do you want to know about? I've given you a couple of options. Give us some clarification. You kind of clarify, you go back and forth, and then you get some recommendations. You probably then take those recommendations and either click on the links and find out what Shopify is going to your other store or website, or you're going to go into your Amazon and type that in and buy that product, right? That's the same thing that Rufus is trying to be in the space. They're trying to create that engaging back and forth, answer engine that's really going to take your questions, give you recommendations based on the platform of Amazon, and therefore recommend some products. You can click on that and order, right? So that is ultimately where the experience is going. Now, there's going to be always the intent-based. Hey, keyword search, I want this product, comes up, search results, get it. But there's going to be this other era of being able to have this engaging conversation with an AI agent, and get some recommendations. So how do we make sure that we're optimizing for that, right? Which is where Amazon is going. So the era is happening where we had this A9 algorithm. It's still in place, but it is keyword intent based. It is keyword stuffing. It's broad matching and synonyms, right? There is semantic matching happening on that, but you know how we all structure our listings, right? To make sure that we're matching for those terms. That is still important, but it's starting to shift towards this other side, which is COSMO, which is the algorithm, the new intelligent, algorithm on Amazon side, and Rufus, right? And so it's starting to look for your listing in an intelligent way and saying, hey, we're looking for certain schematic, technical mapping of your listing and reviews and other insights that we need. And we're using that to then map you to the relevant keywords that are out there and give you visibility across the different ways you can find products. And that's the critical thing that we have to do with your listings right now, so that it is mapped in the right way. And I say it again, Amazon has to keep up, right? So, they can't be slow. They can't control the narrative anymore. Like, this is happening. We see it in ChatGPT. We see it all there. They have to pour their focus into Rufus, into COSMO, and making sure that they are generating listings in the right way, not only for visibility on Amazon, but if they do it in the right way and they can get some more visibility on these AI platforms, they're making more money anyway, right? Because you're making more money, they're making more money, right? So they're moving in that way. The cool part is there is a technical mapping. They've given us documentation on this. They're telling us, hey, if your listing is written in this way, we can therefore give you more visibility. We know what to look for as part of the algorithm. They've given that, and this is what we're mapping into it. And again, what I'm saying is like that mapping, that technical mapping and what it's looked for, we've obviously investigated all on these AI platforms. What are they looking for? And there's a big similarity between the two. So that's great, because if you're structuring your listings in this way, that means that you're getting more visibility on these other AI platforms. And, you can take that and transfer that onto your Shopify, everything else, right? So there's big similarities between these. They're using very similar AI methods. So how do you structure your listings? Focus on benefits, functions. How do you ensure there's executive summary in your listings? All these things that AI is looking for, both on Amazon and beyond, is what we're schematically mapping your listings for. So I'll state this right now. We're future-proofing your listings right now for where Amazon is between the A9 and COSMO and Rufus, and we're balancing still a lot of where the A9 is, and we're making sure that we're broad matching on a lot of the terms. But then we're also technically structuring you for COSMO and Rufus, and we're future-proofing you for these other AI platforms, right? Songuru is really literally the only platform right now that I know of that is thinking about your listings not only on Amazon, but how the visibility and the schematic structure of that is structured so that you are more visible on Gemini, ChatGPT, Perplexity, right? So this is a pretty cool space that we're focusing in on, and we're constantly learning, evolving, understanding what's needed on that front, and pouring that into the structure of your listings, which is very cool. All right, Kevin, let's look at your question right now. Trying to understand how this is different if we're already building listings based on customer use case and intent. Isn't this what keywords are? So I've kind of answered that already, right? So yes, it is. But what's really cool about AI is that you can, and understanding the technical mapping that is needed, you can build your listing how it is, but then you should map that technically and look for where the gaps are, right? And what's cool about what we've built is we can, and I'm going to get more into this, not only are we technically mapping it and finding where the gaps are and making sure that we then map it on your listings, but we're also doing deep research on the brand, the human, the USP, you know, how to differentiate, and we're doing all of that up front, which is extremely powerful. So yeah, hopefully I'll answer your question. If you have another one, follow up. You know, let's talk more about that. So usually we wait till the end, and then I give you a link and I say, hey, this is what you're going to sign up for, and you've got early access. I'm giving it to you up front because it's a great offer. I just want you to actually click on this right now. You can scan this with your phone and follow along as we talk. You can start to fill this out, and you might have questions as you go through, because there are steps to go through in this process. Or you can go to the link, zonguru.link/COSMO-100. Evo, if you can drop that into the chat, that'd be great. But you know, either way, just type that in. You're going to get to a page. There's a first page on that, the second page, etc. Or just you know, scan the QR code here. Have that available, and then if you are following along and you want to fill that out as you go and you have questions, bring that up. We can go through it as we go. So we'll come back to this, but again, zonguru.link/COSMO100 or that QR code. You'll get to the page where you can fill out and start to get early access. We are limiting early access, but just get in and start using that. Thank you, Evo. Okay, so let's talk about what is this, right? Okay, so the algorithm is changing, right? It is changing, and we are saying, are your listings AI mapped, right? So we see that, you know, if you're sitting here right now and you're like, hey, my listings are going to Q4, I'm not ranking as well, I'm not seeing as much search volume. There most likely be some changes happening on the side of Amazon testing. Hey, is the A9 where we need to be, or are we starting to shift more to COSMO, you know, Rufus, where they have to be? They're starting to make that shift, right? And if you're not mapping in the right way and you're not giving the right signals, you can be losing out on traffic. And so this is what we're doing, is we're saying, hey, we're mapping in the way for how Amazon used to be, but we're adding these layers on top of it, which are critical to ensure that in this new era, you're mapping in the right way. So what is the actual service? There's some really important things here. So we're enhancing your content. You might say, hey, I've got a great listing. It crushed it last year. It's crushing it right now. We're taking that essence of that listing, and then we're mapping it further. We're giving you more insights around the human conversion aspect of it. So I'm going to talk more about this, but that's what, you know, AI is really good at doing deep research and finding things that you might not have thought about, right? So, and then really dialing that in to make sure that we can connect better and get better conversion. And then we're adding the technical mapping as well. Deep AI research capability, and that's based on what's really cool about this. And again, I'm going to talk more about this as we go through, is that we're not sitting here and saying, hey, AI is going to solve everything for you, right? We're going to use this AI model that we built, and we're going to get all the answers, and we're going to put it into a listing. We're saying, hey, we can do deep research capabilities on that, and we can do some really cool, agentic modeling around your listings and your niche and your competitors and all that. And we're also pulling in proprietary data. We can do all of that, but we're not forgetting that there's a human element to this. You, the brand owner, the expert, or the agency, we're giving you the ability to feed into that agent and teach it so that we understand your brand better, your USP. So and that's one of the things that no one is really doing in the space, that we're recognizing, like, the human element is, you know your brand's best. So give the agent the opportunity to learn from you and get your input, so that we can then use that plus all the other deep research capabilities we have, proprietary data, to then come up with a solution, right? And that's what's really cool about the model is, I think we've always said this, like, it is a tool at the end of the day, but you can influence that, right? You can give better information you're given, the better output you're going to get. So we can account for that. It is a multi-agentic model that we've built. You have many agents that literally have specific jobs. Hey, I want to understand your brand, your USP. I want to understand your competitors. I want to understand your customer, your target audience. We have all of these things that are truly learning around your brand. Hey, we want to understand the niche, what's important, what are the dynamics of that niche. All of these things get learned individually, and then they come together to create the final output, right? So we've been spending the last while building this model, and it's pretty powerful. And obviously at the cutting edge of what AI can do. Jay, only USA, not UK yet. Yes, only USA. So it is, we're launching it for the UK literally probably in the next couple of weeks or so. So it is coming. but right now it is USA based. So if you have listings live on USA, that's where you need to focus. And the UK is coming very shortly after, and then we'll roll it out to other markets as well. So it is USA for right now. Okay, and then provides you with full control of your brand and content, right? So again, going back to, so a couple other points here. It says SEO for Amazon, but yes, again, it's giving you visibility into the new world of where this is going. And we're playing in that space and we're getting it right now, but there's going to be improvements as we go, right? And as the space evolves, maybe Amazon starts to integrate with ChatGPT on the shopping side, right? How cool is that going to be? And then making sure that you're visible, right? So the more you can build it in the right way now, the more you're going to be ahead of the game as you get into the space and as it evolves, right? And then we're giving you the full control of your brand and content. In our process, we give you opportunities to see what's coming back and to give influence to that so that we can nail it, in terms of creating your actual brand at the end of the day. So I just want to highlight this. AI is awesome at doing the deep research, right? It's great at doing that, right? That's how do we leverage AI in the right way? One is the technical mapping, great, and they've told us, and we can make sure that all your listings are mapped and then evolved to ensure that it's really optimized. And then this human insight and connection. So how do we improve your better conversion rate? Because we understand your US, I call it the sweet spot, right? We're trying to understand the balance between, customer wants, what do they want, right? Your USP, what's your unique selling proposition? How do you separate yourself from your competitors? What are competitors saying? And where are they focusing? What's the sweet spot between that? We need to find that. AI is very good at helping you identify what that is and then bringing that through in your listings, right? For that better conversion. Okay, so Mark, Chris, okay, some questions coming in. I'm going to keep rolling right now, and then I'm going to come back to these questions. So thank you, guys. Keep those questions coming. We'll get into those in a second. I just grabbed this right now this morning. This is from someone who's just literally came back and got their final products. This is what they said, right? This is incredible. Wow, I've been trying to figure it out how to say this for 7 years, and it captures my ICP, I think they meant, right? Their pain points and sell it to them and it's in an amazing way. I can't wait to see how this will improve my conversion rate, right? So the person is saying, hey, I've been trying to figure this out, and the insights I'm getting from this product is really showing me how I really need to stand on and better connect on the human level with my audience. Hey, I'm going to implement that. And by the way, it's also technically mapped for what it needs, right? Title, bullets, descriptions. And I think there's a question there from Chris. We're going to talk about that in a second, but we'll get into that, right? So this is getting more into like a snippet into COSMO optimization. So this is just a piece, and I'm showing you more on the back end, but like there's many factors that come in, right? We're looking at A9, we're looking at COSMO, we're looking at Rufus, which is the answer engine. What are the frequently asked questions? There's various different areas that we're looking at, but some of the technical things of what COSMO is looking for is this evolution of like, hey, we're not really looking for an ingredient list. Hey, here's all the product attributes, right? This is what's in here. We're looking for the reasons why people buy, right? And this model is intelligent enough to understand that, like, hey, if it understands the reasons why people buy and the benefits, which is like true brand kind of connection, if it understands that, it can map it to all the ingredients, right? And the product attributes, it can do that mapping, right? So better to focus your listings on connecting better with the reasons why, and it will map the balance of it. Now, in theory, we could just do that piece. We are still building in the A9 piece and making sure that there's a broad match on your top intent-based keywords. But this is where AI can really help, is understanding the why and matching it on that side. So you must align your listing content, title, bullets, back-end search terms, A+ content, alt tags in your EBC, all of those things with buyer intent, not just the product specs, right? It's a reality. You need to do it now. So what is the problem that's, your buyer, what are you solving for your audience, right? What are they doing? What are the experiences? Why do they need it? These are things that you need to figure out and make sure that you have that quality score on your listing, that you're talking about those things so that the AI can look for it, map it, and say, you map to this. Therefore, let's give you visibility to the universe of keywords, experiences, ways that we can find your product, right? So that's what's really important to do. And let me show you what that looks like. So, okay, so kind of taking that a little bit further. So what do we need to do? We need to map it to buyer intent, search buy, and co-buy. So what is co-buy behavior? It's like, hey, if I buy an automatic cat feeder, I'm going to buy, cat food, right? Or I'm going to buy an AC adapter, or whatever those are. So understanding the mapping of the co-buying in that experience, in that ICP of being a cat lover, what are the types of products that you need to buy? Those are important to start to map those together, right? And obviously AI is good at doing that. And there's this idea of a semantic triple, which you don't have to really understand. It's a technical way of doing it, but it's matching like the search query, the co-buy, to the user function, right? And so there's a mapping that happens. And if you get that semantic triple happening in your listings, technically, therefore, AI will surface you in a better way, right? So this is what some of the mapping looks like, right? So this is directly from Amazon. They've said, hey, this is what you need to, the kind of technical mapping you need to have in your listing. So there's things like function usage, right? So peels potatoes easily, right? So what's the function of your product? What's the ability of your product, right? So, hey, it does it easily, but for how many, right? Or for what weight, or whatever those things are. So the functional ability, the occasion, what are the different kinds of occasions that your product would be used, the audience, the product type, the season, right? The location, the facility. So it's saying to us, hey, if you can make sure you answer all of these things in your listing and the various types that are in there, therefore we can take that information, map it to our algorithm, and therefore give you relevance and visibility across the various ways that we can find the product. So this is obviously technical documentation that we've then trained our AI on to go and say, hey, look at the listing. Has it mapped everything in this way? If it is, great. If it hasn't, make sure it maps, right? Okay, so good questions, right? Q4 is not a template. Q4 is right now. Yes, it is. So, this is something that needs to be done right now. Obviously, we have Prime Day coming next week, and then we're going into the busy season. So Q4 starts now, but it only ends, going to December, right? So there is time to make sure that we're getting these things future-proofed, optimized, enhanced, right? We're not just taking away the listing that we have, but we're making sure, hey, can we enhance it further and make sure we mapped in that right way? And this will certainly start to carry over not only from the Q4, but going to January and all the other times of the rest of the year that's going in, right? So you've got to move now to make sure that you're well prepared for not only what's changing on Amazon, but what's changing in the space, right? As we just talked about. So here's an example. This is like a smash burger product, right? Just to smash your burger. This is a listing, right? So what we do on our side is you submit the listing, we do a bunch of stuff, but one snippet of this will go and say, hey, we've looked at all the whole listing, the content, we've mapped it for this technical mapping, and we found gaps. Okay, so the event is missing. The who's buyer, what the kind of audiences are missing, the location is missing, whatever, these pieces are being missing. So therefore, use all the proprietary data, the inputs, the things that we have, and then rewrite the content to make sure that it's mapped and corrects it in the right way so that it is telling the AI in the right way what it needs to be. And then you come out with the bullets, right? So now it's changed the bullets. Perfect Smash. It's much more emotive in its copy. It's much more geared towards, what is the solution it's solving for, right? But it's mapping in the right way and answering all of these questions and therefore filling in the gaps so that the AI can map before that, right? So your listings might be perfect and it's going to come back and say, hey, it's great, but it might come back and say, hey, there's gaps. Here's where you need to fill it in. And that's what we're doing on our side as one snippet insight into what the COSMO technical mapping is. Okay, so we're going to jump in and I'm going to show you what these reports look like. We're going to talk it through, but just to highlight what are some of the benefits of this. You think you've got a great listing right now, that's great, but how do you make it even better? Deep research insights, finding things that forest from the trees that you might not have thought about. These are really cool. Look at the AI's come back and told me it's researched my whole niche, all my customers, all the customer sentiments, the competitors, my USP, and it's come back and told me some things that maybe I haven't thought about, right? So it's going to give you that, which can allow you to connect better with your target audience, right? For years, we've always talked about like, hey, your product can be great, but your listing, if you don't understand your true target audience and what their needs and wants are, their emotional side, you can't connect well. This will do some really good research on that side. Represent your brand and brand tone. So we give you the opportunity to give feedback on your brand tone, so that not only are we writing the copy to connect with the audience, but it's done from your side of your brand. If your brand is, fun and, witty, we will account for that in the copy that comes back. Image carousel narrative. Customers buy with their eyes. We tell you exactly what to put in your image carousel. The order is dynamic. The technical mapping for that, right? And then the AI visibility, the image readability, and then obviously, this idea of future proofing, not only for Amazon, but beyond on GEO, AIO, and ensuring that you guys are one step ahead when these integrations start happening on the e-commerce side with ChatGPT, etc. That's going to be important. And so on. There's so many more, right? So let's jump in and look at this product. So I'm going to walk you through an example here. Let me just look at some of these questions here. I know there's been, thank you for the questions, guys. It's really important to keep them coming. I'm just going to pick out one or two. I will come back. We're going to have Q&A at the end. So we're going to keep talking about this. All right. So let's see. Okay. So Stacey Lane, whoever told you there's such a thing as A10 is trying to get your money. A9 is a name, not a version. Yes, and I didn't say A10 once. I said A9. And I'm talking about COSMO, and I'm talking about Rufus, right? So we are mapping, and we're still considering A9. A9 is evolving. Even a year ago, people were like, "Oh, well, it's just keyword stuffing," and now it's A10. It's not A10, right? It's A9, but they evolved it to the semantic idea. They might still keep that name, but the COSMO and the Rufus aspects of that, and COSMO, which they're actually calling it, which is the AI side of it, that's critical, right? So, this is a new way of really being an intelligent being, and it's definitely an evolution from where it was. Whether they rename that or not, we'll find out, right? Chris, what if we are not the brand owner and are competing against others selling the same products? All these listings enhance we do on our end, drive more sales. So if you're a reseller, obviously you're relying on the listings that are out there, right? For that are being put there by Amazon, right? So those have to be evolved and improved. Again, if you can control that, you're in a better spot. We're specifically talking about brand owners in this case. So I'm going to come back to some other questions in a bit. Let's just keep going because I know people are interested in seeing this. So let's just jump in. I'm going to go in and bring this up for you, right? So Amazon cat feeder, right? If I type this in, this is the old way of doing it. I type in automatic cat feeder. These are all of the solutions that are come up. They're organically ranking. There's a lot of A9 in these. But again, like there's this idea of like, hey, as we take influence from COSMO Rufus, should we be giving more visibility to those products? So, that's the old way. The new way as well on top of this is, right, I can click on Rufus right here, right? And I can say, hey, can you tell me the key things to look for in a automatic cat feeder for dry food? Okay, and it's going to come back and it's going to do exactly what is in ChatGPT. It's going to come back, give me some ideas, some thoughts. Hey, here's some key things to look for: food tank size, programmable portions, multiple meals a day, fresh food, whatever. It's coming back with all of these macro recommendations, and then you can go back and forth, answer some questions, and it's going to give you some recommendations, and you'll click on it, and then you will get your results, right? So that's a new way which needs to evolve, and the experience isn't nearly as good as ChatGPT at this point, but it's evolving, right? So they have to keep up. And then, if I find a product there, great, I've gone back and forth in that conversation and I've clicked on it. Hey, this is an automatic cat feeder I've got. Now, this is a great product listing, right? It's written really well. It's got some great bullet points here, programmable feeding, easy to use. The images are here. It's got some copy in the images, which is important, right? Pretty great branding. Never miss a meal. These things, it's got great A+ content down the bottom, right? So it's a good listing. We've taken that listing and then run it through our solution, right? And what we've come up with is 2 documents, right? You get 2 documents. One is on the actual listing content, and the other one is actually on the images. And you'll get this PDF. You'll have input on this, but we'll come up and we'll start to say, hey, what are the things that we need to improve on this, and give you the reasons why, right? So you'll get immediately up front, hey, this is your old listing, this is your new listing, right? As we recommend it. So, this is your current one, this is your new title, right? Again, we're still looking at your main buy keywords, we're broad matching, but we're writing in a way that is natural language and that is written in a way that is right for the algorithm, which is influenced by A9, but also COSMO and the technical mapping, right? Which is important. The bullet points. So this is where you really start to see a lot of the difference, right? This is a pretty good title, and it's evolved it further, but you can see in the bullet points, right? Programmable time feeding. It's changed now to worry-free feeding schedule, healthy weight management, days of peace and mind, right? And then it explains all the things behind it. So it's understanding what customers are really worried about, what do they want, and then it's highlighting that in an emotive way, which connects with customers, and then it gives the explanations behind it that are technically mapped to give you, even more visibility, right? So when you start to see these things, never miss a meal again, right? We even saw that in Rufus is talking about these things. We're making sure that we're covering it in here in a way that is emotively connecting with what customers are concerned about. We get into the description, we optimize that, the back and search terms in the right way, right? All of the various terms that need to go in here. And we're going to get to some of the images and then obviously the alt tagging in that as well. But it's doing all this on the front end. And then it starts to explain the reasons why, right? So the current listing is technical specs is this. Now it's looking at the emotional side, addressing pet parent guilt, peace of mind messaging, lifestyle integration, quality time emphasis, right? These are things that customer sentiment is coming back and saying are really important. It's then looking at the evolution of the benefits, right? It was like this before, and now it's talking about, it's addressing the anxiety that's coming up in the customer feedback. It's coming up with the benefit focus on what really matters. The outcome, never miss a meal again, right? Lifestyle aligned. You know, it's coming back and telling you some of the reasons why. And then it gets into the mapping and it says, hey, this is what the listing was, why it matters, and it's mapped, right? So we're showing you some of the mapping that is happening around the function, the situation. It's telling you all the things that we're mapping for, right? It explains the reasons why, so you can read this. And then it also looks at the A9 algorithm, looking at the main terms, how we covered exact, broad match, etc., main keyword, etc. We've got those in there. Everything that we do on, if you know Zonguru, keywords on fire, and finding the brand analytics keywords and, you know, the most important keywords of that month, we're looking at those from a relevancy perspective and then exact and broad matching it across it without overstuffing your listing, right? So we're doing that as well. And then we get into the Rufus engine optimization. What are all the questions that people are asking? FAQs, we're answering them, we're addressing them, and we're putting that into your listing. And then the cool part is we start getting to brand voice alignment. So you have an opportunity to add your brand voice. We show you that we understand what that is, and then we show you how we address it in the listing. So you influence this, and I'm going to show you how to do that in a second. We look at your USP. We show you the understanding of that, which is your unique selling proposition and how we address it, right? Up to 4 precise meals a day, several days of worry-free feeding. You know, we understand like what is your actual differentiator and how are we addressing that? And then how does we align that with your customer? So what is your customer, you know, what are some of the things that they're saying? Hey, I feel guilty by leaving my cat alone. So we address it. What if something goes wrong? My cat is overweight, right? How do we address these things? So we're addressing all of these and aligning with what your customer actually wants, right? And we're feeding that from the space. So not just what you're telling us, but we're pulling it from reviews, from the niche, from everything in that space. And then importantly, if there's compliance issues, we address that as well. So if there's anything that, you know, is not non-compliant, whether you told us or whether we find that about your niche, we'll address that here and say, hey, we removed it for these reasons, right? So there's a compliance side of it as well. And then we give you that in a CSV format so you can upload it directly into Amazon. But now we're also going to the image side, right? So on the image side, how can we help you to create better images so you tell a better narrative in your content and you get better conversion, customers buy with the eye, but also make sure that AI can read your images in the right way, right? So it's reading the content, it's addressing the right pain points and the right key benefits so that you can get more visibility, because AI does read your images. Take your image, drop it into ChatGPT, it's going to tell you what it reads, right? So it's really critical that we do this from a human conversion, but also from an AI conversion perspective as well. This is a research document that you can give to your creative team. We haven't given you the exact images to put into your listing, right? Because at the end of the day, AI still falls short on that front. You can use it for inspiration, and that's what this document does. But your creative team is going to be best at creating your images, right? So we give you all the insights, all the ideas of what to put into the content. We even give you prompts that you can add into your favorite AI platform, Nano Bananas, you know, ChatGPT, whatever you want to do, and it will give you actual inspiration that you can give to your creative team. But then they should execute on it, right? So we're recognizing here that the human expert side is still important. You can use this for inspiration, but we're not giving you the final images, but we're giving you everything you need to give you the inspiration to come up with the images. So again, we're doing the deep research here. What do customers want? What are your competitors saying? What's your USP? And we come bring that together and we start to dynamically tell you what you should be putting in it. This will highlight, this is a really cool section. This is actually what customers want to know about the product, right? So it's telling you all up front here, the customer sentiment. And then we get into your competitive landscape, showing you how you look versus your competitors. So at a high level, just really showing you what are you up against, right? How does it look from a narrative perspective? And then we get into every single image. So we say, this is your dynamic order of what you should be telling in your images. Image 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So together it's telling you Give a first impression on your main image. Key benefits, lifestyle integration, technical trust, transparency, competitive dominance. Make sure those are the messages that you're telling across your carousel. And then we go into every single image. This is the primary image. I'll just focus on the second image right here. So it's going to tell you the second image. Here's the insight, right? Customers prioritize feeding flexibility and portion size control. So we need to make sure we communicate that. This is what we need to put in the visual description, showing breakfast, lunch, dinner, portion control. Customizable, you put in the headline copy, customizable feeding schedule, put in the supporting copy. This is the priority message you need to give over here. And here's the technical requirements that you need to follow. And by the way, here's a prompt that you can actually add into your favorite platform, and it will give you an inspirational visual based on exactly what we're saying. And we do that for every single image, right? So you can literally just drop this in or give this to your creative director or your creative person, and they're going to come up with better images, better insights, or enhance the images that you have. And we do the same for your A+ content. We do the actual order. We do the hero image. We tell you exactly what to put in it. We give you a prompt so you can add that in. And we even tell you the alt tag of what you should be putting, which is important for the AI, right, to read it. So it's a pretty extensive document. Again, you see what someone said there. Like, we understand the USP. We're communicating in the right narrative. We're giving you all the deep insights that you need so you can do the creative execution on your end, plus all the copy and how to connect it in a better way. So very impressive in terms of all of this documentation. We give you the CSV that you can upload as well. In terms of like the prompt guideline, right? This is kind of the one way that we're showing you. We're actually doing it in this way. So if we're going to highlight, we can say, hey, this is what your product should look like, the angle, and then we give you everything that you should be calling out in here, plus the copy overlays. These are the kind of prompts that will come out when you drop it in there, to go with the documentation, right? So yeah, let's pause there for a second. I'm going to show you now how to actually fill out the forms and go from there. But I want to come back and maybe just look at some questions that are coming through here. Give me a thumbs up if you guys are impressed by this, or if you have questions on it. I'd love to just hear some comments there. We're walking through exactly the kind of thing that you're going to get at the end of the day to make it better, not only for, again, human conversion, but for the technical mapping that you need. I'm just looking at some questions here. Let's see. So Mark, so can you list all the fields that will help optimize title, bullets, back-end search terms, A+ content, premium? What is your take on back-end search terms? Is there a way to map back-end search terms for AI? So we kind of walk through that, but yes, there is mapping. There is essentially looking at the mapping, and then what we're using back-end search terms for is potentially any language-specific keywords that are actually being searched for on the marketplace, like Spanish, right? We need to include a lot of those. Some broad matching keywords that or synonyms that we want to see, we should be putting those in there. And there's a few additional things that we're adding into the backend search terms to make sure that we're giving as much influence as we can on that front. I would say bullets for sure are really becoming more and more critical. There's other search fields, on the back end when you guys create your listings. Those will need to be filled out for sure. And then images and what you're putting in your images and the alt tags are all critical pieces, outside of obviously the title, that are important in your listings. All right, let's see some further questions down here. Okay, Sarah, hey, I already filled out the form a couple of weeks ago. When should I expect to hear from your team to get started? So if you filled out a couple of weeks ago, you should have already got emails. I'll talk you through the process right now. Again, you've filled out the form, the brand intake. If there was any feedback on that, you should have got emails back saying, hey, you need to fill this out, or there's something that's blocking us from taking the next step. We've sent out some reminders on that. If you haven't seen any of that, check your spam. It'll be there. We've certainly sent out, you should expect, if you fill this out today, where we are today, and if you fill out all your steps in the right way, you should be getting back the full PDF, within the next couple of days, right? So we guarantee under 5 days, but it should be within 1 to 2 days. You'll get this back if everything is smooth and you filled it out in the correct way. So, Scott, hey, what is the cost? So the cost per optimization for parent SKU. So basically, you put your hero ASIN in. You can put a parent, we'll map it. Ideally, you should be putting in your hero ASIN. So your child variation, if it's a black one or a gray one, put that main child variation in there. That's what we're going to optimize for, and we'll give that back to you. And it's $100 per ASIN. So you add it in. You can do it at the parent level. We'll match it to your main child, but really just add your main hero ASIN, and you'll get this back. Obviously, you can apply it to all your child variations across there. but we're charging $100. There's no subscription needed. Literally, you can just pay per ASIN. You'll get this back. And if you like what you see, you can upload it, and then you can add as many ASINs as you want. You can do 10 upfront. You can do bulk. What I do recommend is that you do it per product first, right? So there's a brand, and there's going to be a brand section to that. You might have multiple brands, but focus on one brand for each input that you put in. Select a product. If you have multiple products, do your product and do your hero ASIN on that, or the multiple hero ASINs within that product family, right? That's how I would recommend doing it. And again, you can do it once, you get it through. You can do 5 ASINs at a time, get it back, and you can do another 5. You can continue to just do it as you need it, right? So there's some really cool ways that you can use it. But I want to jump in and just show you how to fill this form out and why it's important that you really take the opportunity where we give it to you to input into this, right? So fill this out: name, brand, agency, how many products do you manage, and then how many do you want to do first. Go to payment. You go onto the payment page. This is what it looks like. You just however many ASINs you want, you put it on there, you pay, right? I can guarantee you, if you pay $100 on one hero ASIN and you upload that, how quickly will you get additional sales back on that? Probably within seconds, right? So this thing pays for itself. It's obviously the price is going to be going up. This is an introductory price for the value of what you're getting here. It's incredible. And you are going to get insights. You can implement one of these things that we come back with, and you're going to get more than $100 back in revenue. I can guarantee you, right? So this is really critical. So go ahead, fill it out. Once you do this, it's going to refresh on that page, and you're going to get this, right? So it's going to say, okay, we're ready to begin the transformation. There's a video from me. Watch the video. It's going to explain it. And then below that is where you're going to fill out your brand intake. Now, this is important. You're going to do it once for your brand, right? This is your opportunity to feed our AI elements around your brand, right? So take this seriously, consider it. This is not the only thing we rely on. We're obviously going to rely on the niche, anything else that we can pull from your listing, etc. But this is a chance to influence the agents and let it learn really about your brand. It'll take you maximum 10 minutes to fill out if you take it really seriously. You fill out the information, you have brand name, website URL, your storefront. Here's where you actually put in the ASINs that you want to optimize first, right? So list your ASINs, your hero ASINs. You can do 1, you can do 5, you can do 10, 20, whatever you want. Fill it out, hit next. It'll then go to the review product sheet. This is where, and let me just do this real quick. See if I can do this. Let's just go next. So this is where it's really important. We're going to start asking you questions around your brand origin, your vision statement, your mission and values, right? If you have a style guide and you're well into this game, copy snippets of that and just paste it in here. If you don't, we have the questions here. We just tell you, hey, answer these questions or copy this section and drop it in there and answer it, right? So this will really be an intelligent way that you can teach us about your brand tone. There's 3 pages on here, so you just go through them. It'll take you less than 10 minutes. Just fill out that information. Be considerate about that. It also has things, hey, what don't you want us to know about? What don't you want us to say about your brand, right? So there's an opportunity to talk about the negatives as well on here so that we don't put that into your copy. Fill this out. Once you've done that, it will submit to our team, and then the AI process will begin. We'll take that information. We'll start, using primary data that we have in your niche, start analyzing all your competitors, everything that we can do, and start to build all the product attributes, everything that we have around it. And then we formulate that. We send you a summary of those product attributes, and we say, hey, look at this. Is this aligned with your brand? Are there any edits you want to do here or anything you want to give feedback on to make sure that it's aligned with where your brand is going? Are we focusing on the right keywords? You as the brand owner have the opportunity to give input there. You can just look at it and say, great, submit, or you can make any changes. And then we give you the final product, which is those, the PDFs with all the content and everything else, right? So if you take those first 2 steps and you really consider them, the better input you give, the better output you're going to get, right? This is not the only thing we rely on, but it is going to influence the output, right? So make sure you give this an opportunity to add that information. We then run it through our AI system, that agentic model, but we have a human team that also is checking everything, giving input on there, giving feedback, right? So, and then maybe asking you questions if we need to. So we have the AI side and the human element side to give you this back as quickly as possible. You can try it again with a couple of ASINs, but ramp it up as you have more and more ASINs that you want to submit. Okay, and then let's go back to this form over here. I want to just make sure that I highlight the offer again. Okay, so this this is the launch offer, right? Early access. You can, again, scan the code here. We'll optimize the listings for you. We'll use the tech, our human team, before and after scores, as we showed you the reasons why, all of the listing copy, images, EBC, recommendations, plus the copy to go in there. It's $100 per ASIN. No subscription needed. You literally, if you are a customer, great, you can pay for this on top. If you're not, you just pay the $100 and you will get these back, and you'll get the ROI back on that literally in seconds. This is the kind of thing that you need, that insight to be able to really create the best listings, and then the technical mapping on top of that to get the visibility. Go to zonguru.link/COSMO100, and you will literally start the process and get this going. We are going to keep evolving this process. It's going to get faster and faster, better and better. But this is literally the steps you need to take to future-proof and be ahead of the game as things happen on Amazon, obviously, and beyond. So let's jump in, and I want to answer some of these questions going to the Q&A. So let's jump in. I'm going to bring my questions over here, and I just want to make sure. Let me stop sharing my screen here for a second. Okay. Great. I'm going to jump over and start answering some questions. If you have questions, I want to hear from you guys. Please put them in here, and we will begin to answer all of these questions we have. Okay, so you guys got me front and center. Let's go through some of the questions. Okay, let's go back here a little bit. This is incredible. Thank you, Larry. I'm just scrolling back here to answer questions that I might have missed. Let's look at the time. We have some time here. So whoever's on, let's ask some questions. Let's get some answers. Okay, Chris, we answered. Mark, yes. Yeah, I don't know who talked about A10. I do see there's some mentions of A10s here. We're not talking about that, right? It's still A9. That's right. Kevin Richardson, the example gallery images, A+ content shown after the sign-up page seem very stripped down and generic. How is this helping AI understand the product? A+ after the sign-up page. I'm not sure what you mean by sign-up page. So, Kevin, maybe you have some more feedback on that. But again, so, and maybe I'll answer this question, but we're giving you the insight. What is the main message you should have in there? We're giving you the high-level headline and the sub-copy that goes in there. This is a guideline that your team can use. There might be additional things that you want to add in there. I would recommend that you keep a priority message to each image in the narrative. You might have some substantiating bullets under each of those. And we're giving you a recommendation of what that image should look like. But it is stripped down. That is the guideline to give to your team to say, hey, this is the priority. People always worry, they don't understand what the priority message should be on a page, and they get stuck because they're trying to communicate too much in one image. Make sure you communicate the priority message in that, which is what the algorithm is looking for, which is what the human is looking for. You can substantiate that further and evolve it further, but don't lose the main message in that image, right? So that's a critical piece, and that's what we're focused on telling everyone, giving the inspiration, the angle, what you should highlight, what is the priority message in there, what is the substantiating copy to go in there, and then obviously what is the alt tagging as needed on the back end as well. And again, remember that kind of image we gave of the actual narrative showing you all of your images versus your competitors. That has been critical when we show clients that, right? They see, oh, this is what I'm telling in my images, the narrative. Is there a priority message as I step through those images versus any competitor that's in there? And most of the time, you look at that and there's actually ways that you can improve your messaging and make sure there's a clear narrative being told across that carousel, which is what we're doing in the images. All right, let's see what else is here. More about A10, A9, okay. This webinar is fantastic. Thank you. That's Mark. Thank you. Appreciate it. Oh, this is a really interesting point. Priya, you're saying, hey, great, but isn't Amazon going to start updating the listings themselves? So Amazon is coming out with, they've even mentioned that, like, hey, we have an AI model. We can just add a URL and we'll spit out the image and we'll put this live for you. They've been saying that for a while. They've been doing it for a while as well. I can tell you right now that Amazon, people are not impressed with what they're doing because it's not giving the input that is needed from the customer, the owner of that brand, which is you, right? Or the agency. And they're always going to give you the opportunity, and Amazon recognizes that by giving you the opportunity to upload your own listings. Amazon is smart enough, and they've always been over the years I've known them. They know that they can help to enhance and be efficient with things, but they have to give the control of what's being communicated on listings by the actual brand owner themselves, right? Which is you. And so that's that option is always going to be there, and that's what we lean into. We're saying like, hey, we can train a whole model, and we take into account what Amazon is actually giving in those listings as well. We account for all of that information. We enhance it with everything else that we've got, but we're giving you the control of inputting into that brand tone, everything else in that, and then giving you the final listings that you can even tweak and enhance further. Maybe it gets 90% of the way, you can tweak it and then upload it, right? So I can guarantee you that the best person to communicate their brand, obviously within a baseline, is going to be you, the owner or the agency, and we giving you that control, and you're going to upload that, and Amazon will always recognize that, because if they don't do that, they're going to fall short and not capture all the essence of what you're trying to communicate on Amazon, right? So it is really important that the control is always going to be with you, and that you can control that. I would never rely on Amazon just to let them publish my listings. It's never going to work, right? Priscilla is asking, can we trust GPT to optimize title bullets generic? So whether it's GPT or the agentic model that we built, I think it's an important point. You can we're giving you the ability to influence and input that, and the more you can do that, the better your result is going to be. But you can't just blankly trust it to upload, right, and get it 100% right. That's why you need to review it before you upload it, and you have the ability to make those changes. But understand that the structure, like when you look at these listings as a whole, you might actually look at your title and go, hey, you know what, like that's maybe not the main buy keyword that I really want to focus on for whatever reasons. I'm going to change that. You have the ability to do that. But the structure of the listings, some of those insights that have come through, how that's communicated to better connect with humans, and actually the technical mapping, that's all there as a baseline that you can maybe shift words here and there, but you have the baseline there that is structured in the right way, right? So it's getting you, at best 100% of the way there, at worst 95% of the way there, but then you have the ability to tweak it as you need to, right? Mark Duran, you explained literally what I just said, which is great. Amazon has never taken responsibility for fully optimizing listings, right? Because they understand that at the end of the day, you are the owner and you know the best about your listings, right? And you've got to have that opportunity to do it. Kevin and Mark, again, you're saying enhance my listing tool is still in beta and honestly not very strong. And it's never going to be, and I think that's where Amazon's always, it's going to fall short there. We're going to give you the ability to enhance it further. And by the way, those signals coming from Amazon, that's primary first party data that we're obviously building into our optimization as well, right? So we're leaning on anything that we can get from Amazon as well. All right, what else we got here? Incredible, great, thank you, thanks, Crane. So if you sign up for it to get early access right now, and you have listings in the UK, we'll just hold your credit right now, and then you'll be the first person to get it for UK as we launch that. And I'm telling you, the team is working on it right now. It's coming. So you can go ahead and get your slot ordered right now. Just go ahead and pay for it. We have it on our end. We'll hold that, and then we'll run it for you as soon as it's ready. So Seed is asking like, hey, I just updated everything for Rufus a while ago. Now we need to do COSMO and Rufus. What's happening? Is the changes happening? How fast are they happening? The answer is it's an ongoing process, right? So we're in Harting today. We're constantly teaching, learning, getting inputs from there. And importantly, our job is to, and this is part of the subscription of Zonguru, is and even our managed services side, if you want to engage that, is like you can optimize your listings, but how do you track performance over time, and then check, hey, are we optimized fully, or are there gaps, and then enhance it further, right? And so that automatically updating process is things that we focus on and continue, and we monitor the performance. You can do that keyword tracker, listings, organic rank, niche rank, all of those things are available in Zonguru to do that, right? So you can do it yourself, or we can do it for you. But again, get your baseline there, monitor, see where the gaps are, and then constantly evolve it over time. Does this work for new products that don't have a listing yet? No. So you have to literally have a listing uploaded onto Amazon. Once you do, we can then take that and work on it and enhance it, right? So you've got to have something as a baseline on there. Australia will be next after UK. That's coming. Oh, this is important. Can I purchase today and fill out the form tomorrow? So that is, yes, you can. So you can purchase today. I recommend you purchase and spend time filling out the brand intake, because if you don't do it straight away, you're going to forget. But if you don't, we will send you an email and there will be your personalized link on there where you can get back to the brand intake form and fill it out, right? And you'll get an email that will have your product sheet and you can fill it out as well. So it is important that, yes, take the time and fill it out. But if you miss that opportunity, you will have a link in your email. Check your spam. If you don't have that, you can always message us, but you will have it and you can fill it out at a later stage. But, take your step, book your spot right now, pay for it, fill it out if you can. If you can't, you can get to it later. You'll have an email that will allow you to do it. So the listing optimization inside of Zonguru no longer works. No, it does. So, so the listing optimization in Zonguru is there, and it is structured for this way. You can run your keywords, you can optimize. However, this service, and we're going to build this further into Zonguru, and you're going to see it, populate in there. This agentic model accounts for a lot more things. For example, inside of Zonguru, there's no specific brand intake, right? We can give you tone, but there's no understanding of your brand tone. The customer sentiment piece is not as strong. So it's doing, everything that we can within there. This is an enhancement on top of that, right? So there's an evolution of that. You can certainly use Zonguru inside of the tool as well, but you're not going to get a lot of these brand nuances at this stage yet. So you use the service you have, but if you want to use the listing tool that we have inside, you can. But there are certain things that this will just do better, right? And then as we evolve our product, it's going to fall into the listing optimizer side as well, right? So this is an early access, get in and use it in even the better way. Yeah. So Sean's asking, how long should we update our listings? I would say you do it once, and then our recommendation is you check, every 30 days and see how is it looking, how are you performing, how are you indexing across, the various ways in brand analytics that we can find your keywords, your search volume over time, your organic ratio, your rank. These are certain indicators that you should be looking at. And if it's not looking like it's perfect, or if it's growing, then looking at enhancing your listing and doing it further, right? So you can always rerun it, you can check it, but I would say every couple of months is a great place to be, and then enhance it further. And that also accounts for seasonality, right? Because seasonality, what people are looking for, change all the time, right? So really important. Templar, if the report isn't quite right, this is a really critical point. Templar says, if the report isn't quite right, can we get feedback and update the report? So I think what's really important here is, like, if it isn't quite right, there's going to be two places to look. One is your brand intake form. Did you capture things correctly in there? And also in the product sheet. When you get that product sheet back, if you gave input in there and also said, hey, don't negative match on those things, if we can match those, if those were done correctly, you're going to get a really good output, right? And then you get in a CSV output where you can tweak a couple of words. So the tweak at the end of the day is on you to do before you upload. But again, if we completely missed the mark for some reason and that was captured in your brand intake and your product sheet, of course, we're going to rerun it for you, right? But the first place you're going to look is on the product sheet and the brand intake. And if you didn't capture those information correctly, then just make your tweak on the actual CSV outputs. This happened actually internally with one of our teams today. They were like, oh, well, the listing came back and it said all these things, but we didn't want it to say those things. And I'm like, okay, well, look at your product sheet. Well, you've got it all in there. You guys didn't take account for that in the product sheet. You had an opportunity to influence the AI and you didn't take that, right? So make sure that you look at those things and consider it so that you get the best output. Melody, how can you briefly touch about schema and how it applies to Amazon listings? So we talked about that. Those are all the schema. That is the schema, right? So we have a document as well that we can show you, which is how the new AI era in these platforms, how they look at schema. Basically, it's natural language, right? So we're not overstuffing keywords in there. Synonyms are okay. It's executive summaries. So right up front, like summarizing what your product is about, right? Having that up front. AI is looking for that. It's benefits, the reasons why, it's brand style, it's the product attributes, different occasions, right? All that technical mapping that we showed that is applicable to Amazon, that's good for Amazon. That's also good for other AI platforms, right? So those are schema. That's the schema of how you should be actually mapping it out. Gary, no problem. Looking forward to giving you the product. So he just said he filled it out and he's looking forward to seeing what it is. That's great. Okay, so Ilona, you said, hey, you just bought 10 product listings. Is it possible to fill out the form for just one product and then fill out the other 9 later? So the form, it depends on whether those 10 were at part of the same brand. If it's part of the same brand, you just fill out the brand intake once and we'll apply it to all of the ASINs, right? If it's different brands, submit for one ASINs for one brand first and then the rest later. So if the brand is done once, we can do it for one listing and the rest later. But if you're doing it all 9 as part of the brand, the product sheet that comes back will be attributes for everything and the summary there, and you can just check it off in one go and you get it. So it's a really efficient model. Like, you know, some agencies were doing 5 ASINs a month. You can now do 500, right? It's incredibly fast. So, you know, go ahead and submit it. Thanks, everyone. I see lots of thanks here. Guys, I think we're at the end of our time. Again, if there's any questions, go ahead, submit them. We'll come back to them here. You are going to get a replay. You're going to get an email that comes back. There are opportunities when you fill this out. There is support. Our support team is geared up to handle any conversations you have around this. So if you have a ticket, there's a chat on Zonguru. You can use that, or you can email support@zonguru.com and we will handle your questions there. And this will go through the system. If it gets stuck anywhere, we'll come back and say, hey, we need some more information from you. If you haven't had an email from us literally in 24 hours, check your spam. If it's in there, just make sure that you put it in so that you're not in spam there. And then you will get, you'll go through this process and you will get some amazing insights. And again, implement one of these and you're going to get the $100 back in a couple of seconds. I can guarantee you. So it's really critical that you do this now, or at least you have your baseline there so that as the space shifts even more, you are ahead of the game and you're optimizing for Amazon and beyond. That is going to be our focus. And we're really excited about it. And, you know, we're in this AI game, so we've got to be at the cutting edge, right? We've got to be ahead of it. And that's where we're focused, and we're going to help you to be there through this transformation and all the opportunities that are coming, right? I think I'd end with that, right? Everyone, there's anxiety that comes with AI, right? We feel it in our business. We feel it in the world. We felt it when the .com era came about. But when the .com era came about, how many opportunities did that create for people? What happened in the world? How much revenue did it generate? How many things happened when Amazon came about? Like, what did that do for all of us, right? So the AI is the same thing. It's going to be faster and quicker, but if you stay on top of it and ahead of it, you're going to be open up to so many more opportunities to create wealth, to create opportunity value in the world today, right? So the key is you can't be left behind and bury your head in the sand. You've got to be ahead of the game, and we're going to help you do that with everything that we can do here. All right, Crane, thanks again. Templar, appreciate it. Again, we're going to see everyone try it here, and we're going to evolve this further also for agencies, you know, outside of brands, you know, giving you the ability to have a little bit more editable within the PDFs, you know, obviously white label, things like that. These are coming, but now is the time to try it. We'll see you guys, and look out for more presentations soon. Cheers for now. Have a great day, and crush for Q4, guys. It's going to be an epic Q4. And you know, stay ahead of the game now, or get ready for Q1. It's around the corner. Cheers for now.